right. Lovely. Anyone wants to share anything before we get on and invite our special guest for tonight? Anybody wants to share any experience, anything that you want to add, contribute to everybody here?
Atticka, can I share this?
Yes, please. Yeah, please.
Yeah. Thank you. I think this is the gratitude jar I created when we started on 24th of May this year. Um, I It's actually bringing a lot of happiness within the family. Otherwise, typically, we meet once a day or twice a day. But now it has increased, and one is able to express the feelings completely.
So when I attended this cup of gratitude session with you, so initially I made it a habit, like every time before we eat a meal, I'll just sprinkle that magic dust on the food. And before going to sleep in the night, um, me and my son, who is 8 years old, we both will just be grateful for the whole day, whatever good happened with us. So now, you know what happens? Sometimes I forgot to sprinkle the magic dust, then he reminds me, who is 8 years old, Mama, you forgot to sprinkle the magic dust. Sprinkle the magic dust. And in the night also, he reminds me every night, though I also try to remember, but sometimes I skip this, but he made it a habit that we both do it like as a practice in the night. We do like our prayer in the gratitude prayer in the night and sprinkle the magic dust on the food every time we eat something.
Lovely. That's so
So
nice.
this is something like, very amazing. Just a 8-year-old child is, malab, he learned so many things just malab, from a session. Malab, this is just amazing. Malab, I'm really grateful to
So
you.
really, I mean, you all should share it with your entire family. This should become like your value system. Being in
Yes.
gratitude, totally, because it's a part of our culture, it's part of our nature. Okay, one last sharing and then we move on to our guest for tonight. I think he has come. Yes.
That I attended just few sessions of this cup of gratitude. Since then, I'm so grateful. Amazing experiences, I'm having, and maybe I have not realized that I am so grateful, and I'm sharing with my children each and everything I'm grateful for through messages wherever I go, whomsoever help me, whatever grace is there, Gurudev's grace, I share everything. I am really grateful to be on this path. Thank you, Aticka. Thank you.
Thank you.
When I grew up, we had very little money at home, but my mother had this, she was very wise, she had a lot of skills, but amongst them she had this skill to make us appreciate whatever was there. So, shifting that attention from the lack to what is there. And I think it's so beautiful, this whole initiative that Aticka ji has been doing, and that through you again is being shared, because of course this is the whole skill, that it's just a way of looking at things, and that can make all the difference. I mean, we've all heard this example, glass half empty, half full, but most people, they don't live their life as if it's half full. They feel it's half empty. And I think especially in these times when everything has started shaking, what could be more necessary than a reminder like this, where instead of seeing that, okay, what all is going wrong, there are so many things that are going really right.
Now, Swamiji, first of all, let me welcome you again. It's such a great pleasure to have you. And I'm a big fan of Swamiji's yoga and the mantra chanting, and it's really fantastic. In fact, I listen to his Ganesh Atharva Shirsha almost every day. So Swamiji, thank you so much for giving us such gems. Okay, but today I want to ask you so many questions, but I'll start with something which is so current right now in your life, which is your book.
Yes.
Now, tell me, somebody who's so busy, who are taking sessions back to back, courses back to back, how did this come about?
This was just before the pandemic hit, which anyway, life was already stressful, as we know. But with it, it became all the more relevant. So I also realized when, for example, our Gurudev started doing the online meditations twice a day. I personally know people who have been, not greatly inspired to start meditating themselves because they felt they have many other important things to do, who during that lockdown said, you know what, my mind is messed up, let me try this. And they had great experiences. And at the same time, I know so many people who were really struggling, and for them this became like a raft or a life jacket, where they said at least once, twice a day, I do that and it keeps me going. I thought, this may be another way to reach many more people who I may not meet personally, or who may not directly feel comfortable to, come for a course somewhere, or, some people, they like to explore in the comfort of their home, or I know some of us, including, some of us here probably, they even came to know about these things or came to this knowledge through a book, one of the main things that inspired me to come to India was Autobiography of a Yogi.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, and I remember the first book someone gifted me of our Gurudev, that was not Bang on the Door, but that...
God Loves Fun.
Oh yes, God Loves Fun. Classic. But, just reading that, something got me hooked. I was like, wow, I think it was, that like nature supports. It was for a bigger purpose, a good cause. So the first draft became the final draft, which is quite unique if you ask any author.
That is really unique.
And
Dutch author, we are calling you, and you have your roots in Europe, and then, you look at your blue eyes, and then how you became a Swami? Swamiji, what happened? What's the story?
What went wrong? Yeah. So I'll be very honest, not everybody knows this, but I have actually 25% Indian genes. At least my mother was born in Delhi.
Okay.
And her father was Indian, my Nanaji. He had this idea to come to the Netherlands and learn how to make dairy products. And he met my grandmother in a train there. But I grew up with a half Indian mother and a Dutch father. And when we were young, we used to meditate sometimes, which is quite unique, of course.
Somebody from there, and now I see you like this. How?
So, yeah, when I was 16, I met Gurudev Sri Sri Ravi Shankarji in Amsterdam during a public talk on human values and spirituality. And till then, I had been looking for something. I was doing different martial arts. How it is, you go read some books, watch a documentary about Zen monks, or I read Autobiography of a Yogi, but then you're looking for something authentic, and for me it's always been that I want to find something really proper, then I can really go for it. Otherwise, I don't want to waste time. At the same time, I don't want to just keep shopping around. So somehow we landed up there in the program. My mother had just done an Art of Living course. She liked it. And then she heard that the founder is coming. And meeting him, for me, something clicked where I knew, okay, yes, this is this is who I was looking for, And it was just the combination of his presence, his very simple and accessible language, and at the same time, very profound wisdom, So, and down to earth, very normal, simple, but very profound. He can do that. So that got me hooked, to cut a long story short. And I started doing some of the programs of the Art of Living. And I came to Bangalore once or twice, even before I finished my university studies. And then when I completed my studies, I asked him, I said, I had already done the teacher training for the Art of Living. And I said, I would like to dedicate my life. My family is perfectly fine with it. I would like to be of service to whatever extent I can be. So I told him, I said, I would like to come to India, go more into the Vedic knowledge, also learn some of the pujas, and be a full-time volunteer and, serve there. But of course, sometimes we don't know what is best, how we can be most useful. So I actually asked him, I said, Gurudev, you please tell me. I just want you to make me maximum useful. And I really felt like that. So I said, you guide me now. This is what I had in mind. And for a moment, he closed his eyes. I was very fortunate. There was only one or two other people in that room at that time. So I had all the space to express myself. And he closed his eyes for a moment. Then he opened his eyes. He smiled. And he said, done. I like, done means? So I said, so I can come to Bangalore? He said, you come. And I tell you, as you said, no, how did I manage to write this book in between everything? Since I came to Bangalore, from that moment, he has a way of keeping me really busy. But then, of course, I didn't know that I'm going to be a Swami, because we only had a few. Like, you will remember, Aticka ji, those days, there were only few, and all proper long hair, beard, all Indian, of course. So for me, it was something that happens in India. That even though when I was very small, I used to think that, I would love to become like a monk. In the sense, you roam around with very little belongings, being useful to people. That was always there for some reason. But I never thought this was a possibility until, like Gurudev started giving me more and more Swami-like jobs. He'll send me to villages, okay, go and do padayatras, satsang, perform pujas, and then calling me for meetings when he was meeting the other Swamis. So I remember the first time I got a call, and they said, Gurudev is calling you. It was in the evening, in the night. After, here is Gurudev, and then here are 4 Swamis. A Swami itself is like, it's a bonus. You get to hang out with some, and here there's 4. And then it was me. So I wasn't sure, like, I'm not sure what I'm doing here, but jackpot. And then from that day, whenever there was a meeting, they started calling me also. And another 1 or 2 years later, he gave me a new name, very beautiful name. And then, till then, so I wasn't sure this was even an option, a possibility. Slowly, I started getting the feeling that, okay, maybe, who knows? And then, but one more small gossip, spiritual gossip. 1.5 years, I think, before he gave me a new name, there was actually one of our international teachers from the US who told me that he had asked Gurudev, he had asked, actually, personally, he had written a letter to Gurudev, some private things, but he's a funny guy. So his first question that he had written in the letter was, Gurudev, what is your plan with me? I have been with you for so many years. Are you going to make me are you going to get me married or make me the first white Swami? And apparently he looked at him and he said, no, but you're too late. Alex is already there. And my name was Alexander.
Oh my God.
So he told me this when we met a few months later. Jeremy told me this. And for me, that was a shock, because even if Gurudev was joking, if he's taken my name, that means kuch to hoga, something will be there. And I tell you, it took me 2-3 weeks to get it out of my head again, because that kept going. I had never asked Gurudev. Gurudev had never asked me. Suddenly, there is a possibility he's going to make me a Swami, but then how will it be?
I've really not even seen an Indian be able to chant Sanskrit like you do. So how did you pick that up? Because really, it is something, it has to be God gifted. So what happened and how did you do it?
So for me, it's also be a wonder. It's one of the things I'm very grateful for. My father had one cassette, an audio cassette, from somewhere he got it, with some Vedic mantras that he used to play sometimes. And I used to be fascinated. I didn't know what it meant or what it was for. Many, many years later, then I found out that one of those things I had been listening to when I was very small was the Gayatri Mantra. So I had heard it. I didn't know what it meant, but it was there in my system still. So I started, singing along.
Lovely.
But the first time I came to the Bangalore ashram, I was 19. It was after high school. And I had that experience of our Rudra pujas. For me, it was like magic. There's someone sitting, and those days when Gurudev would not be there, the Pandits would perform, one of the main priests. And I remember there was one, and he would sit like totally straight, and then he's doing all these things, and like, it was like, Harry Potter style for me. And then I saw everybody is, because the chanting is so melodious, in tune. And then, I looked around and most of the people there sitting like this. And I was wondering, but everybody had their eyes closed. So initially I was looking because, all the things, and they're doing something and they're making these mudras and this and that. And I was I don't know what they're doing, but it looks super cool. And then at some point, I closed my eyes and I was listening to the chanting. And just that vibration or that melody, that tone, I don't know what happened, but suddenly they started singing, the songs, the bhajans in the end. And then I opened my eyes and I realized even I'd been sitting like this and half an hour was gone, And it was such a deep state of that meditation, relaxation. And I was like, wow, I want to not just experience it again, I would love to learn. In mindfulness, if we want to sum it up in a crisp way, we could say that mindfulness is still effort. You're still engaging the mind. You're doing something with the mind. And true meditation is effortlessness, where you go beyond the mind. And that is where you really relax. That is where you get that deep rest, where you really recharge, and where you experience that part of you which is beyond the mind. And I felt that, so that the book, it's not a book that says, okay, there is only one right way to do it, or you should only practice this type of meditation, because there are many schools and we have many beautiful traditions. So some people may already be practicing something, but then, yes, how do you know that you're on the right track? Or for people who want to start, how do you know that, okay, there may be a nice yoga studio in your neighborhood, but how do you know, okay, am I really meditating? Or if you download an app, okay, what to expect? Is this going to get me there or no? So to introduce people to the subject and also give them the practical tools that to start your meditation practice or to deepen your meditation practice. How things that I have learned over the years, where sometimes Gurudev may say something, or he'll give us some experience, or conducting a program, and then you realize, oh, this really works for people. So we don't have to reinvent the wheel. So I have that 15, 20 years of experience that, okay, let me share some of those things to help people, especially in these trying times, to, get on track. Or if we've not been so regular, how to be more regular, how to make it a part of your life. These were some of the ideas behind the book.
Right, lovely. Very well explained, Swamiji. And my take on this is that when you start meditating regularly, every day, then I think you become more mindful. It's as simple as that.
Definitely.
Just that. So mindfulness and meditation are definitely two different things. You can be 24/7 mindful if you start meditating at least twice a day, maybe for 15-20 minutes every day. And then 24/7 mindfulness happens, awareness happens.
Thank you all for this beautiful session, and lots of love and blessings from my side as well. And thank you so much for a lovely time. I had a wonderful evening, and it was so nice to see all of you, some familiar faces, some new faces, some faces from very auspicious places like Bali.
And of course, Bangkok people are there, people from Bangkok and from US also. I don't know, all time differences, but still they managed to come. And of course, I see from Brazil and Argentina.
We have people from so many places coming together. It's beautiful.
Really.
I have worked in some of these places, Northeast. People say, oh, very challenging. And then we go there and we find, Aticka ji's footsteps. She is one of those pillars that, it's inspiring to see. Then you go and meet someone and they said, we have only a few, those people who've been there from the beginning there, that few people who really got things going. And then you find out, we did course with Aticka ji. She came that time when there was no art of living yet.
Thank you for coming, Swamiji, in spite of being so busy and having so many courses back to back. Yet you managed to come for us. Thank you so much.